Well, this morning, the race for the White House is heating up. For the first time since October, Fox News polls are showing that President Biden is just slightly edging Donald Trump by 2 points within the margin of error. Voters listing the future of democracy and the economy as extremely important issues when making their choice at the voting booth this election season. Pollster Lee Carter joins us now to break it all down for us. Hey, Lee. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
These are interesting numbers.
Yeah, right. Last October, Biden was up by 1 point. But every month after that, in the same poll, was Donald Trump. He was up. Now Biden is up by 2 points. Why is that?
So I think we're seeing a little bit of a shift. This isn't anything seismic, and we're not seeing it across the board, and you're certainly not seeing it in the swing states. But there are moments in time where people have some questions about the candidates and some shifts in how they're viewing them. And I think when you look at all of this, what we're seeing is independents are starting to second guess their votes. So the biggest shift has not been among Republicans. It's not been among Democrats. It's been among independents. About 9 points of them have shifted from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. Why would that be? I think number one, people are starting to feel a little bit better about the economy. Now, I wouldn't make anything of this because we still have only 1 in 3 Americans that feel good about the economy. I think the other issue is people are worried about, as they call it, one of the biggest issues right now is leadership and integrity. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a bump right now based on the conviction of Donald Trump. And I think some people have questions. But my guess is right now is this is going to be a blip. I don't think this is going to be something that's long term. I think we saw these kinds of shifts in polls in 2016. But I think it's important to note that Donald Trump was never, ever ahead in the polls in 2016 or 2020. And he consistently outperformed the polls by between 3 and 8 points. And so even though he didn't win in 2020, he still overperformed what the polls said he was going to do. And I think we're still going to see that same kind of phenomenon this year.
So they asked the voters, who do you trust more on these issues? And Joe Biden did better, up 20 points, than Donald Trump on climate change, 13 points better on abortion, 10 points better on health care. Donald Trump, 9 points better than Biden on immigration, 5 points better on the economy, and 4 points on the Israel-Hamas war. So it's really, when you're a voter, what are your issues? How are they going to benefit your life, your family?
So right now we're saying that this is more of an issues election than it is a candidate election, because both candidates are not wildly popular across the board. Those that support them. Certainly those that support Trump support him strongly, not necessarily the case for Biden. But these issues are really important to voters. The thing to look at here is Donald Trump holds the issues that are most important to voters. Number one, the economy, immigration, increasingly important. He's got a lot of foreign affairs. He's got a lot on his side. The issue that Joe Biden has that is important to voters, in particular independent voters, is that abortion issue. And it's a very important one. And you're starting to hear him talk about the Supreme Court. He talked about it over the weekend at his fundraiser. He said, look, we're likely to have 2 Supreme Court justices come open. And there are people who are going to go out and vote based on that issue alone. And that's something that Donald Trump has to be prepared for.
Okay, Lee, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.